The sun rose slowly over the twin hills of Valeria 4, painting the colony rooftops in soft amber light. Children ran between low-bill homesteads, chasing solar kites. The air smelled of dew and distant sea salt, a world terraformed in near perfection. 8-year-old Mira Voss clutched a garland of synthesized flowers, her bare feet tapping across the smooth stone courtyard. The necklace around her neck, a brass sunburst locket, jingled softly. She stopped beside her father's memorial tree, bowed her head for a moment, then looked up at the clear blue sky. "Mom will be back soon," she whispered. She promised. Above, in low orbit, the silence cracked. A glint, a shimmer, then fire. From the edge of the sky came a silver blur, then 24 more. Blazing plasma lances cut through the clouds, and the first colony tower exploded in a pillar of molten white. Screams tore the morning stillness. Mira turned, eyes wide as shadows fell across the square. In the distance, buildings collapsed in perfect precision, homes vaporized in geometric lines. It was not chaos. It was cold, calculated. Mira dropped the flowers and ran. She almost made it to the shelter hatch. 3 days later, the Galactic Council held its press conference. A tragic misidentification during a sanctioned sweep operation, droned the Zalari representative through the audio translator. Ilaria 4 matched an intelligence profile consistent with illegal energy signatures. "We regret the loss of life and offer reparations to affected families." On board Aegis Prime, Earth's high-orbit bastion, Commander Elena Voss, still alone, in a soundproof command chamber. Her uniform hung neatly on her tall frame, sleeves rolled to her elbows. No medals, just a plain black band on her wrist. In front of her, a looping transmission played. Aerial footage of Ilaria 4's annihilation. Buildings vaporized in a pattern. Orbital targeting confirmed. No warning. No hails. She watched it for the 9th time. Elena's expression didn't change. Only her eyes. "Pause playback," she said quietly. The image froze on a single frame. Mira froze in mid-run, locket still swinging as fire raced behind her. Zoom. The AI complied. Her daughter's face came into view. Small, bright-eyed, terrified. Save frame. Encrypt. Mark for memory archive. She leaned back in her chair. The stillness in the room pressed like gravity. Her hand rested on the desk beside a small velvet case. She opened it slowly. Inside lay the scorched, twisted remains of the sunburst locket. The team had recovered it from the edge of Shelter 9. The hatch never sealed. Admiral Rafi Kauri entered without knocking. His face was pale, jaw clenched. He looked older than she remembered, grayer at the temples, posture rigid. "They're calling it a technical fault," he said, claiming the targeting array misfired due to faulty intel from a third-party recon drone. Elena didn't move. They killed 61,000 civilians. Earth is owed a hearing, but the Council is blocking a formal inquiry. No punishment, just reparations and silence. She nodded once, then reached under her desk. A small silver case slid forward. She opened it and removed a slim black datapad. Its screen pulse read. Article 9, Sovereign Vengeance Protocol. Status, inactive. Kauri stiffened. "Elena, don't. That's escalation beyond negotiation. It'll put Earth on the edge of war." She looked at him then, not as a subordinate, not even as an old friend, but as a mother who had nothing left to lose. "They didn't strike a military target," she said. "They didn't send a warning. They waited until the children were out in the open. That was not an error, Rafi. A pause. They knew." 2 hours later, Elena stood in Earth's central diplomatic hall aboard Aegis Prime. A hologram of the Galactic Accord shimmered in front of her, the binding treaty all member species had sworn to uphold. Her voice echoed in the chamber. Only a few aides remained. Most had already abandoned diplomacy for fear of retaliation. Article 9, she read aloud. In the event of an unprovoked and fatal breach against a sovereign people where injustice is denied by council inaction, said people may execute proportionate retribution at discretion, provided civilian targets are spared. She stared at the claws. Her reflection stared back in the console's black glass. Her hand hovered over the activation key. One touch, and Earth's fleet would transition from peacekeeping to retribution. No trial, no council vote, just war. She pressed it. Protocol confirmed. Sovereign vengeance authorized. A distant klaxon sounded. A gentle AI voice followed. Vengeance clock initiated. Strategic targeting in progress. Elena didn't move. She looked back at Myra's locket. They offered reparations, she whispered, but they never said they were sorry. The Galactic Council chamber resembled a cathedral designed by machines. Towering arches of silver alloy, gravity-balanced columns spiraling into an abyss of stars. Delegates from over 60 species floated or stood at tiered stations, each platform tuned to their atmosphere, temperature, and vanity. In the heart of it all stood Commander Elena Voss, her boots planted on polished obsidian. Earth's flag shimmered behind her. Blue and green lines, simple, almost obsolete among the pulsating banners of multi-thousand-year civilizations. High Arbiter Threx Zalko rose from his throne of thorns, his sleek exoskeleton glinting under the chamber lights. His elongated mandibles clicked once before the translator activated. Human representative, he began. You were granted emergency speaking rights regarding the Ilaria incident. You have 5 minutes. Speak carefully. Elena didn't respond to the veiled warning. Her eyes scanned the gallery. Some delegates looked curious. A few avoided her gaze. Most appeared bored. I will be brief, she said, projecting her voice across the amphitheater. On the third rotation of Ilaria 4, Council-sanctioned vessels opened fire on an unarmed civilian colony. The death toll exceeds 61,000. A low murmur echoed. A dozen representatives blinked or shifted. Threx tilted his head. We acknowledge the loss, he said smoothly. An unfortunate consequence of flawed intelligence. The data, I assure you, indicated a weapons cache. No, Elena cut in. I reviewed the scans. The readings were falsified. You knew it. Your vessels didn't hail, didn't scan twice. They struck preemptively. The translator paused, then hissed back her words in dozens of dialects. Tension rippled through the chamber. Threx gave a soft rasp that passed for a chuckle. Emotions, Commander, are understandable, but this forum requires evidence. Elena raised a datapad and activated projection. A holographic stream appeared above the dais. Raw logs, heat signatures, intercepted Zalari command orders, targeting instructions dated before the supposed intelligence scan. Delegates leaned forward. Threx remained motionless. These are verified by 3 independent AI systems, she said. They prove your people gave the strike order before any recon drones were launched. This was an accident. Threx waved one of his lower arms. Forgery. Or, perhaps, dramatization. Your species has a talent for both. Elena didn't blink. One of the victims was my daughter. Silence. A long one. Your grief, Threx replied, does not alter galactic law. She stepped forward, her voice colder now. No, but Article 9 does. The chamber exploded in sound. Translations collided, delegates erupted, some shouting in disbelief, others demanding clarification. The very mention of Article 9 was taboo. It hadn't been invoked in over a century. Threx slammed a claw against the floor, sending a resonant pulse. You invoke vengeance protocol? I do, Elena said. Earth has waited for justice. It will not wait forever. He stared at her. His voice turned surgical. Earth's military capability is modest. Your fleets are outdated. Your economy, mid-tier. You would challenge the Zalari Imperium and this council itself. She reached down and placed a small black box on the dais. This box is transmitting a countdown to Earth's fleet network, she said calmly. When it hits 0, our strategic forces will act. Threx sneered. You would threaten interstellar war? No, Elena said. I'm announcing the consequences of your choices. From the outer rings of the chamber, whispers grew into a storm. Some delegates now looked uneasy. Others stared at Threx with veiled accusation. Council law was clear. If Earth's evidence held, and the Council refused action, Article 9 was not only valid, but protected. Threx tried again. You could have brought this quietly. negotiated, taken reparations. I don't want credits, Elena said. I want truth. I want names. And I want on record. No one strikes Earth and walks away. He stepped closer, his voice low and dangerous. You've always been loud, human, always defiant. But this is madness. You'll provoke your extinction. Elena leaned in just enough. Then we'll go extinct standing. He recoiled slightly, as if the word stung. She turned to the council. Let this be clear. Earth does not seek conquest. We do not wish for war. But you've made peace impossible. So now we respond. With precision, with restraint, but also with memory. She picked up the black box, turned, and walked out without waiting for dismissal. Back aboard Aegis Prime, the corridor lights dimmed automatically as she passed. Admiral Cowrie met her at the lift. You really said it? He asked. She handed him the box. They needed to hear it. He exhaled slowly. It's spreading. Half the Rim species are already recalculating their diplomatic stances. Good, Elena replied. They should. He hesitated. We haven't deployed yet. There's still time to wait. Negotiate. Elena looked at him, eyes unreadable. They killed our people, Rafi. Killed children, and then insulted us with silence. If we do nothing, they'll do it again. And again. He nodded once. Understood. They entered the command bridge together. The tactical display floated above the central dais. Red dots for Earth fleet positions, green for authorized targets. All human ships were cloaked, scattered across Rim sectors, waiting. Helix, Earth's primary war AI, pulse to life. Commander Voss, the synthetic voice intoned. Sovereign Vengeance Protocol verified. Targets locked. Awaiting your final approval. Elena stared at the hologram of Threx's smug face, recorded during the hearing. She whispered something no one else could hear. Then she said clearly, confirmed. Helix's core lights pulse bright white. Countdown initialized 48 galactic hours. Aegis Prime's war chamber was silent, except for the rhythmic pulse of holoscreens. Tactical data hovered midair, gravity-stabilized, touch-sensitive, alive with motion. Dozens of crimson markers blinked across 5 sectors. Everyone is a Zalari military hub, shipyard, or command array. Not one was civilian. Commander Elena Voss stood at the center of it all, arms crossed behind her back, posture iron straight. Status? She asked. Admiral Rafi Cowrie replied, without glancing up. All squadrons in position. Fleet Omega is cloaked near the Mazari Rift. Theta Division has orbital lock on target cluster Zeta. He tapped a single point. That's where they launched the Ilaria strike from. Elena nodded once. Let them watch it disappear. Across from them, Earth's AI war strategist, Helix, shimmered into form. It didn't appear human or alien, but something in between. Smooth faceless silver, refracted in shifting geometric patterns. All vessels report optimal position. Helix said, jamming fields online. Command latency across units is subquantum. We are ready. Elena stared at the largest red icon. Zalari Prime Military Nexus, located on a fortified moon orbiting Triskalis. Confirm no civilian proximity, she said. Helix replied instantly. Confirmed. No organic life signatures within strategic range. 98% infrastructure. Minimal staffing. High-value target. She took a breath. Authorization, fire. The war began in silence. 3 parsecs away, just outside the Triskalis system. The stars blinked. A formation of Earth's cloaked vessels emerged from null space, invisible to every known sensor array. They did not hail. They did not broadcast intent. They simply acted. The first strike was surgical. A pinpoint microsingularity detonated inside the Zalari power grid, folding space in on itself. A trillion-volt arc jumped backward across conduits, igniting reactors before any alarm sounded. The entire nexus flickered once, then vanished into a plume of silent light. A beat later, coordinated kinetic rounds. Rods of condensed tungsten accelerated to near-relativistic speed, obliterated 6 nearby defense platforms. Not even debris remained. In under 90 seconds, one of the most fortified Zalari holdings in the Outer Rim ceased to exist. Not a single Earthship took damage. At the Zalari War Council headquarters, High Executive Valancourt slammed a clawed hand against his command desk as reports scrolled across his displays. "What is this?" he hissed. "Where are they coming from?" "The humans," his second-in-command muttered. "They found a way to bypass deep-field sensors. Nothing's registering. They're ghosts." Ghosts with purpose. Meanwhile, Fleet Theta moved on its secondary target, the Oraxis Armory Belt, a sprawling string of orbital weapons foundries. Unlike the Nexus, this facility was manned. Elena had insisted it not be destroyed outright. Instead, Helix took over the entire control grid in under 0.8 seconds. The Earth AI reprogrammed the internal systems, locked down exit hatches, and forcibly ejected all weapon schematics into deep space. Emergency beacons activated with a pre-recorded transmission. This station has been disarmed by Earth. No lives were taken. No warnings will follow. The stunned Zalari crew could do nothing but watch as every last weapon blueprint they'd ever stored drifted into the void. Back aboard Aegis Prime, General DeAndres reviewed the reports in silence. He glanced at Elena. That was faster than simulation. "We've had time to prepare," she said. "They thought we were soft. We were patient." Cowrie crossed his arms. "What about pushback? Anyone mobilizing against us?" Helix answered before either could. Preliminary council responses include panic, diplomatic flares, and 2 species retreating ships from contested zones. No retaliation movements yet, but eyes are watching. Elena turned away from the screens. "Let them watch." She stepped into the adjacent room. Lights dimmed as she approached the communications hub. "Open a channel," she said. "To whom?" the system asked. She paused. "Everyone." The room flickered, adjusting to galactic broadcast protocols. Then a soft chime indicated the feed was live. Billions would hear it. Council delegates, planetary governors, military brass across 3 sectors. She looked straight into the lens. "This is Commander Elena Voss of Earth," she began, voice steady. "We have conducted surgical strikes against Zalari military targets across 5 systems. No civilian life was harmed. No colonies touched. Every shot was chosen, not launched in fear, but in memory." She leaned forward. "Your council calls us primitive, dangerous, unpredictable. That much is true, but we do not strike first. We remember. We respond." A pause. "Controlled. Deadly. You killed children. Then you try to call a mistake. Earth doesn't believe in mistakes of that size. We don't erase the past. We return it." She stepped back. "This is not conquest. It's calibration. If peace was broken, you broke it. We simply reminded you of the cost." She ended the transmission. In the Galactic Council tower, Threx Zalco stood frozen as the message echoed through the hall. His advisors whispered behind him. One asked nervously, "Do we retaliate?" Threx said nothing. On the display wall behind him, 3 more Zalari facilities blinked out, struck in perfect synchronization. He clenched his mandibles. "We underestimated them." Elena watched the stars from her command office. Cowrie entered again. "Helix predicts full diplomatic chaos within the next cycle." She didn't look at him. "That's their problem." He hesitated. "You think this will hold? That they'll let us get away with it?" Elena's eyes narrowed on a distant glimmer. The edge of Earth's far patrol route. "They didn't let us survive the first time," she said quietly. "We carved survival out of fire. Let them try again." The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council had never been this quiet. Built atop the orbiting capital station Zalari Prime, it had stood for 6 centuries, an arena of debate, diplomacy, and veiled threats. Delegates from over 200 civilizations filled the marble-tiered amphitheater. Light from a distant blue star filtered through crystalline dome panels above. Today, that light did not warm them. A slow ripple of tension pulsed across the chamber as the human's message replayed once more. Holograms flickered, her words clear and cold. "You killed children. Earth doesn't erase the past. We return it." The message ended. Silence remained. "High Arbiter Threx," Zalco broke it. "This cannot stand." His voice echoed with synthetic gravity. "Earth has launched acts of open war against a council member. That is a violation of charter lines. Sanctions must follow. Mobilization. Enough! Came a voice from the Ivorari cluster. Ambassador Velsun, a crystalline being who shimmered in 1,000 translucent hues, turned toward Threx. You mean Earth has responded to a war crime committed by your own species? Do not twist cause and effect. A gasp rustled through the chamber. Threx hissed, You defend these primitives? Velsun raised a hand. I defend truth. The Zalari bombed a human civilian colony. There was no provocation. That is not disputed. The Council ruled an accident. An accident that vaporized children, said Ambassador Kalnor de Zenthri, his tall reptilian frame rigid. I warned you then. The humans are not prey. They are fire held in a steel box. The Council erupted in arguments. Dozens of languages, tones, signals. Debates overlapped. Some call for Earth censure. Others argue for restraint. Behind it all, Earth's power hung over them like a shadow. Threx slammed his fist on the command dais. You fear them? Kalnor didn't blink. Yes. Back aboard Aegis Prime, Elena watched the council session in real time. Every word, every pause. Cowrie leaned against the wall behind her, arms folded. They're scrambling. Threx wants blood, but no one's following him. He expected to rally them through fear, she said. But we got there first. Halix's projection shimmered to life. Incoming transmission. Unauthorized, encrypted. Origin, Vel Sr. Elena nodded. Patch it through. The Ivorari ambassador's form materialized in clean geometric light. His voice was calm, modulated like wind through glass. Commander Voss. Ambassador, she replied. You have altered the Council's axis in a single strike. Impressive. I didn't do it to impress. Of course not, but impact is often louder than intention. She waited. Velsun continued. Some of us believe justice has already been done. Others are still calculating how to profit from chaos. That leaves a small window. A window for what? A vote. That caught her attention. You're proposing Earth be given a seat? Cowrie asked, stepping forward. No, Velsun said. I'm proposing Earth demands it. 4 hours later, Earth's diplomatic envoy arrived. They wore no robes, no ornamental insignia, no genetic crests like the Council's races. Just dark suits, subtle insignias, calm expressions. The humans walked into the grand hall as equals. That alone disrupted the balance. Elena followed last. Not in armor, not with weapons, but her steps echoed like thunder. She stood at the center of the chamber and let the silence stretch. Threx scowled. Earth comes here as conqueror now. No, she said. We come as survivors. You burned our children. We responded. Now we come as what we should have been all along, equals. Threx opened his mouth, but Velsun stood. I propose the following. Earth is granted full recognition as a council species. No longer under observation. No longer subject to outsider limitations. The motion hung heavy. Murmurs swept the tiers. Protocol droids raced to update the vote queue. Threx laughed coldly. They've terrorized the stars. They brought war to sovereign space. Elena stepped forward. So did the Zalari. You defended them. Kalnor rose. They've proven restraint. Precision. Strength. I second the motion. One by one, ambassadors aligned. Some out of respect. Some out of fear. Some, the clever ones, saw opportunity. Votes streamed in. The screen above flickered. Motion passed. Earth granted full council recognition. Effective immediately. Threx rose, eyes narrow, voice bitter. You will regret this. Elena looked at him without blinking. I already regret nothing. After the session, she walked alone down the empty corridor of the station's east wing. The stars gleamed outside the transparent wall. Footsteps approached from behind. Velsun joined her, hands clasped. You understand what this really means, don't you? We're on the board now, she said. That doesn't mean the game's over. No, he said. It's just started, and everyone will play harder. She turned to him. Let them. Earth's had its back to the wall for 100 years. We know how to fight from corners. Velsun regarded her for a long moment. The way you fight, others will learn from it. Good, she said. Let them understand the cost of lighting a match near Earth. In the outer rim, hidden far beyond legal censors, Solari black ships gathered, unmarked, silent, hundreds of them. High Executor Valen Kor stood aboard the command vessel, eyes fixed on the stars. The council folds, he muttered. The humans grow arrogant, and we prepare. The fleet began to move, slipping into warp lanes like phantoms. Earth had won a seat, but war had no intention of ending. Not yet. The sky above New Geneva shimmered in copper twilight as the final reports came in. Elena Voss stood on the rooftop of Earth's unified command tower, her gaze fixed on the descending stars. But these weren't meteors. They were warships, Zalari vessels streaking through the atmosphere like blades. They're not even cloaking anymore, Cowrie said behind her, breath tight. They want us to see them coming. Elena didn't flinch. Let them come. We're done hiding behind diplomacy. Across Earth orbital defense grid, systems activated in unison. Hundreds of kinetic platforms came online. Automated targeting began tracking the Zalari assault fleet even before the first ships broke into low orbit. Helix's voice pulsed into her ear. 10 enemy squadrons confirmed. Estimated strength, 7,400 warships. Orders. Elena closed her eyes for a second, then opened them. Authorization Theta 9. Full retaliatory protocol. Engage. Above the Earth, the sky cracked open. Zalari ships launched in coordinated waves. Energy lances rained down, tearing apart upper atmosphere defenses. But Earth didn't stagger. It struck back. From the far side of the moon, the Phalanx array activated 32 orbital kinetic cannons, rail-driven and dark as the void. They fired once. Thousands of tungsten rods, traveling at Mach 20, pierced the Zalari's vanguard. Entire squadrons disintegrated in silence. In orbit, Admiral Rios barked orders from Earth's flagship, Aegis Prime. Direct hammer pattern. Focus on destroyer classes. No mercy, no retreat. Zalari commanders hadn't expected Earth to respond this fast, this precisely. They expected scattered panic. What they got was coordinated fury. Cowrie watched the projections. We're thinning them, but they're still pushing through. Elena didn't blink. Then it's time we remind the Council why they feared us. She tapped her wrist. Deploy Vindicator Protocol. Deep in the asteroid belt, hidden among civilian mining routes, 12 dormant ships powered up. Not cruisers, not destroyers. These were Vindicator-class dreadnoughts, human-engineered Black Ops platforms, built in secret, offline from Council treaties. Each one carried one weapon, a transonic gravity imploder, forbidden, untraceable, devastating, targeting data synced. 12 dreadnoughts vanished into FTL. 9 arrived behind the Zalari fleet. 3 emerged above the Zalari homeworld. On the council floor, alarm screamed. Ambassadors shouted across tables. Dozens of screens showed footage of the escalating war over Earth. Vel's son turned slowly toward High Arbiter Threx. You said Earth was uncivilized, that they wouldn't dare use weapons of mass disruption. Threx's face had lost its sneer. They weren't supposed to have them. Kalnor growled. They built them while you bombed their children. Threx tried to rise, but the floor shook. A new transmission took over every screen. Elena's face, calm, unblinking. To the Council, we warned you. We sought justice. We asked for truth. You gave us silence. To the Zalari, this is your final warning. Withdraw. Disarm. Or your war ends tonight, in ash. Threx shouted, You threaten genocide? Velsun stood. No, she's offering mercy. Over Earth, the Vindicator fleet struck. The gravity imploders activated. They didn't create explosions. They folded space, collapsed hulls on themselves. Battleships twisted like paper and vanished. 6,000 Zalari ships, gone in 27 seconds. Above the Zalari homeworld, the other 3 Vindicators locked onto key military targets. Orbital dry docks, deep vaults, AI command centers, not civilians, but close enough that every Zalari leader felt the heat. Elena watched it unfold in silence. Cowrie said nothing, because there was nothing to say. The war was over. 3 days later, the Galactic Council reconvened. Elena entered not as a supplicant, not as a witness, but as a peer with the power to destroy every planet in the chamber. She didn't make threats. She didn't need to. The Zalari will surrender all weapons tech beyond Tier 5. Effective immediately, she said. Earth will lead the disarmament. Unacceptable, Threx hissed, his robes torn, face pale. You're a terrorist masquerading as a diplomat. Kalnor leaned in, his voice low and final. She is the reason we're still breathing. Velson added, there is no council without Earth. Not anymore. A vote was called. It passed. Unanimously. Back on Earth, dusk settled over a city that never used to sleep, now finally breathing in peace. Elena stood outside the memorial garden, where a monument now bore the names of the 23 children lost in the initial bombing of Haven Colony. The monument bore no vengeance, just a single line. We remember. Cowrie stepped beside her. You think they'll stay quiet now? Elena looked toward the stars. No, but they'll think before they act. And us? We build, we lead, but most of all, she touched the edge of the stone. We watch. Far across the void, in the ruins of the Zalari throne chamber, Valancourt received the council's judgment. Surrender, disarm, exile. He sat silent, staring at the debris of an empire once feared. And for the first time in Zalari history, their records documented a single damning truth. Humanity was not to be conquered. It was to be respected, or burned for challenging.